Hi guys, so this is going to be a hopefully brief video on my 2 cents on the whole YouTuber of the Month debacle. Now, if you don't know anything about YouTuber of the Month or don't know what's going on, maybe give this video a miss because it's probably not worth getting involved in all the hoo-ha. But if you are aware, I know Dana did a video in the week, and Stu put up a video, Stu2 UK put up a video yesterday on his kind of thoughts on it and everything. Yeah, I saw Scott Sega Saturn Lad gave a bit of input on it in his latest thoughts video. Now I want to give my point of view because I've been actually talking with Gaming Off the Grid during the past week, so I kind of have both sides of the story, and I think that it's good just for me to clear up a couple of things maybe. So firstly, I just want to say that I can see points from both sides. I can see some of Gaming Off the Grid's side because I have been a past host. Now, it's a tough gig hosting YouTube of the Month. People tend to get very worked up about it. People tend to be a little bit unfair to the hosts, and I'm sure people like Stu and Chris and Overbug and people who've hosted in the past would agree that a lot of people don't seem to understand that some things are beyond your control and what have you. And I can also see a lot of the side of people who are unhappy with the state of YouTube of the Month because, in my opinion, it is the host's job to host and not to judge the channels and hopefully not make any, significant rule changes. So this all started, I think, on Sunday for me. So I can say now that the video's gone up, this month's YouTube of the Month video has gone up, that Al Planet Retro won. Now on Sunday, Al put on one of the WhatsApp groups a screenshot of his conversation with Gaming Off the Grid, and they said, "Congratulations on winning, give us your 3 nominations, blah blah blah." And obviously Al was like, 3 nominations, I get 5, and they said, well no, we're now picking 2. Now everyone started going, oh, this, that and the other, and I was not happy at all because Gaming Off the Grid, they already introduced a rule stating that you have to have 3 uploads in the past month to be eligible. Now I commented on their YouTube of the Month video and I said, look, I strongly disagree with that. I think 1 or 2 is ample because, from my point of view, the amount of time it takes me to put up a video, there's a lot of months when I don't put up 3 videos up in a month. It's tough, like we're all doing this as a hobby, we've got full-time jobs, it's tough. And I know Gaming Off the Grid said in one of their clips, their live stream clips, which I was shown about a week ago, and I know Stu put some of them at the end of his video, that they said, we upload about 8 a month, it's not that hard. Well, I do disagree with that. It is that hard. It depends on the type of video, it depends on the content. I think it is hard. So I kind of voiced my opinion with them that, look, I disagree with that, and they just said, well, that's the rule we're putting in. But when I saw the rule change about them taking 2 nominations, I thought, no, this is unacceptable. So I did what any adult would do. I didn't go and start trolling them and everything, and I'm not addressing this to anyone who has made videos in the last week or anything. This is more addressed to people who are just commenters, because I see a lot of stuff in the comments winding it up. And I know that Scott said on his thoughts video, Scott Sega Saturn Lad, that this shouldn't be turning into a witch hunt against Gaming Off the Grid, and I couldn't agree more. It shouldn't be turning into a witch hunt. And I think some commenters have been trolling them and what have you and all this. So rather than me going and trolling them and doing this, that and the other, I just went on, I saw they were live streaming and I messaged them and I said, hey guys, are you taking 2 votes off the winner? And they immediately said, I don't know how you even know that. And I kind of just said, look, let's take this to Twitter. We went on Twitter and they agreed to have a Zoom call with me. So this is Monday night at midnight, so that was 6 p.m. their time, because they finish work at 5 p.m. So 6 p.m. their time, which is 12 midnight in the UK. I had about a 40-minute Zoom call with these guys, and at the start of the conversation I said, I don't know if you know me, but I'm Pete and I hosted in 2017. And they went, oh, they had no idea. So to be fair to them, they didn't even know I was a prior host, and they took time to talk to me about this issue. Now obviously I said, they know I disagree with the 3 videos in a month thing, but I said, look, this taking nominations is completely unacceptable. It's just totally against what the show's meant to be about. And you know, to be fair to them, they said, look, that rule's not set in stone. We haven't rolled out the video. Changes can be made. Let's come to a solution. And we talked for a long time, back and forwards on it, and came to a sort of compromise that they would allow Al to keep his 5 votes, but one of the nominees would have to be from a country other than the country where the winner resides. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're trying to bring it back to the US, they're trying to do this, just trying to get US channels in there. I don't think they are, because having talked to them, I think that they were planning on putting a couple of Australian channels in that month, and they just want to keep it diverse. And I understand kind of where they're coming from in a way, because having hosted, I know that it can be a grind when you do get phases of people kind of voting for their friends and this, that and the other, and that's what they're trying to do. That's why they've said you have to have an active channel that month, and they're trying to keep it diverse internationally by introducing that rule. Now, whether people are happy with that or not, it could change at the end of the year. When the new host comes in, they can change it and just keep it as it was, normal 5 channels, you know. But to be honest, going forward, I don't see it as much of an issue, because most of us watch content from all around the world. You're probably going to know someone who lives in Australia, lives in Europe, Japan, America, wherever it is. It's not about America, and it's not about, you know, UK versus America or any of that business. You know, I don't think any of us realistically believe that. But a lot of people are accusing Gaming Off the Grid of things like, oh, I think this is more, again, the commenters who are getting all worked up. The commenters, like, oh, you know, they want to do this, they want to do that. Well, that's all speculation, because guess what? None of you have spoken to them. No one's taken the time to actually go and speak to these guys, because they're willing to speak. They're willing to talk. If you have a beef with them, message them. They're on Twitter, they've got email. You can talk to them, they will talk to you. And I can 100% guarantee that, because that's exactly what I did on Monday, and they took their time to speak to me. So if anyone has beef about these rules, they are willing to have a discussion. So fast forward to yesterday. So today's Sunday. This video will hopefully go up today, Sunday. So yesterday, Saturday, they kind of messaged me in the week, and they'd obviously seen a bit of dissension, and they've seen all the comments and everything, and they've been taking your comments into consideration, and they've probably seen Dana's video, and they are listening to people's feedback. So they messaged me saying, look, can you come on a call on Zoom yesterday? So yesterday at about 4 p.m, so 10 a.m. their time, I went on a call with Gaming Off the Grid, and also with Do You Nerd, who are the previous hosts. And yeah, another long conversation, and they're listening to the feedback. They agreed, and if you've seen their latest video, you would have seen that they made some rule changes. So they dropped the subs back down to 1,500 subs. Now, until I mentioned it, they didn't actually even know that the sub count max used to be 1,000. Now, I think how this came about, from what I understand now, is every year up until I did it, it was always 1,000 subs. Then when I passed it over to Russ Lyman, he misunderstood, because I think between winning and then hosting, he'd gone over 2,000, so he had it in his head that the limit was 2,000. So he started saying 2,000, and then I think in one of his videos, maybe his last video, he just misspoke and said blah 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 3,000 subs. Now, when Do You Nerd took over, they used his last video as a basis for the rules because they wanted to exactly copy the rules and change nothing. So they heard 3,000 and just kind of ran with that. Now, when they kind of realised, hang on, a load of people are saying it shouldn't be 3,000, they said to Russ, well, what, you said 3,000 in your last video, and he said, oh, I must have just misspoken. So that's how it's kind of snowballed from 1 to 3,000. Now, Gaming Off the Grid, they haven't changed the sub count since Do You Know. They just took it over and it was already 3,000. So they had no idea that it was 1,000. So having listened to that, they've dropped it to 1,500, which is good because this is all about finding small channels to watch. If you've hit 3,000 doing what we do, you're huge. Like, you know, you don't need that exposure. The smaller channels, personally, I think the people who really need it are the 500 and under channels. You know, they're the channels that should be getting nominated. So that's good. They've listened to that and they've done that. They also listened to me about the 3 videos in a month and have agreed to drop that to 2. So the channel has to be active and have two videos in the last month. And again, I can, to be fair to them, see where they're coming from with that. It eliminates people nominating channels who haven't done a video for ages, but oh, they're my mate. You know, it doesn't matter if they're your mate. Reasonably, the YouTuber of the month should be active within the last month or 2. You know, I'm just looking at my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. So yeah, they also said in their latest video that they will not be making any more changes going forward. So that's good news for everyone who's concerned with, oh, what if they change this, that and the other each month. They've said they're not going to change it. And having spoken to them for quite a while this week, they do have the best interests of the show in mind. I think they want to keep it as good as it can be, and I know some of the way they phrased it has been a bit off-putting to some people, you know, as if they're judging the channels a bit, and like I said, it's not the host's place to judge the channels, but I think that to be fair to them, they're doing their best and they are trying to make it a good thing. And let's just, you know, let's not try and have this like splitting the community. A lot of people in the comments of videos, you know, they preach about community, yet they're trying to divide the community, and we're all part of a community. Nobody gets to decide who and who isn't part of this community. No one's, you know, that big that they can decide that. It's, you know, we should be all working together. But yeah, I think the most surprising thing about all this was when I spoke to them yesterday, I said, who else from the UK has been in contact? And they said nobody. And that really shocked me, that with all this going on, nobody else has reached out to them to discuss this. And I think that, you know, that's what we should be doing. If we have issues, we can just go and contact these people. And they're willing to discuss it, you know. Just go to them and talk to them. It's a show that's been running for a long time, and I know Stu said in his video, you know, he's got a soft spot for the show, having been host, and I totally get that, and I totally agree with that. I do care about the show, having hosted, and I think that, you know, trying to lynch these guys from a tree is just totally the wrong approach. We should be discussing it and trying to make it as good as we can. And thankfully, having contacted them, we've now this week seen a few rule changes that have brought it a little further back to what it used to be. And had I not contacted them, who knows, probably Al would have been stuck with 3 votes and we'd be in a completely different situation. So it shows the power of actually reaching out to people and being reasonable. Yeah, just lastly, I'll touch on the the stream clips that Stu showed at the end. So as I said, I have seen them before, and I think one of them where they were saying, I think one of them was the response to my comment where I went on their stream and I was like, look, we need to talk about these rules, and they kind of a little bit snapped at me. And when I chatted to the guys yesterday, Rob said, sorry, I kind of snapped at you on the stream, and I said no, it's totally understandable, because they've been getting trolled. So they will do a video on something else or a stream, and people come on and they're trolling them and trolling them and trolling them. So by the time you know, they're just wound up, and then people come on talking about YouTuber of the Month, and they understandably they're like, no, fuck it, we don't want to talk about it, we don't care, you know, stop it, because you know that's got to be frustrating, right? And they're a little bit drunk on the video and everything, and like, although I'm not arguing that some of the things they said could be construed as you know, saying they don't care, but I think it was more that they don't care to speak about it on the streams that were nothing to do with YouTuber of the Month, because the last thing, believe me, you want to do with YouTuber of the Month is be dealing with it outside doing the one show. Because when I hosted it, I just wanted to do that one show, get it out of the way. It's detrimental to my channel. It was a huge honour to host it, but every time I uploaded one, I lost a ton of subs. And that's exactly what Gaming Off the Grid says happened to them. Every time they upload one, they lose a load of subs. It doesn't grow your channel. What everybody thinks, oh, they want to grow their channel through this. YouTuber of the Month is never going to grow the channel for the host. Believe me. It only grows the nominees, and that's what it's for. Although, Do You Nerd said yesterday that they did experience the opposite, and they their channel grew nicely through it. But I think that's kind of an exception to the rule. I've completely forgotten what I was saying there. But yeah, yeah, the stream videos. I mean, yeah, they're not a good look, but you got to understand, imagine you're a little bit drunk, you're doing a live stream and people are coming and harassing you and nitpicking you, and you would get snappy and give sarky answers back. I'd tell those people to get fucked. So I kind of sympathise there. But anyway, like I said, I don't want this to be a you know, a video where I'm more one side than the other, because I'm totally straight down the middle, and that's why I contacted them, because I totally get the UK side and the people in Europe who are a bit miffed, and I totally get the side of the hosts, having done the hosting, and myself being part of the community who votes on the show now every month. So I'm totally down the middle. I just want everyone to understand both sides. You know, if you guys genuinely want a better show, then let's all work together to make it a better show. Keep in contact with Gaming Off the Grid. Let's not burn them at the stake. It's a tough gig hosting. And also, a lot of people, they told me that a lot of people sort of comment on their live streams saying, oh, it's coming back to the UK, it's coming back to the UK. Well, guess what? They don't care if it comes back to the UK at the end of the year. They don't care if it goes to out of Mongolia at the end of the year, as long as the show carries on going. And I think that those people need to realise that if you want the show to come back to the UK, all you have to do is, at the end of the year, you vote for a UK host. And then if it legitimately comes back over here, happy days. There's no need to get worked up about this. And at the end of the day, although, as with a lot of people, I have a soft spot for the show, people are taking this far too seriously. And I think it's because of the lockdown. Like, people don't have fuck all else to do, so they're getting worked up about this more than they perhaps would otherwise. And it's supposed to be a bit of fun. It's about the small channels getting a bit of exposure, and that's what I want to end the video on, really. That, let's not forget all this negativity. Look how much negativity there's been around Dana winning, and it's kind of ruined his joint win for him. So look at the channels who've been nominated this month. Let's not continue ruining it for them. Let's give them the chance they deserve, and I'm sure they're all chuffed to be nominated. And let's just keep that positive side of the show going. Go and vote for one of them. show them some support. Let's just keep the show doing what it's supposed to be doing. But yeah, if you made it all the way through that, thank you so much for listening to me. I just wanted to kind of give my side, as I said, having known a little bit of both sides. But yeah, you guys can judge for yourselves what you think about the whole thing anyway, as I'm sure you will. But yeah, that's it from me. See ya.